America, 1765. 13 British colonies stretched along the Atlantic coast. They grew the food. They cleared the land. They built the towns. And 3,000 miles away, a king they had never met was about to tell them exactly how much they owed him for the privilege. The Stamp Act of 1765. Every newspaper, every legal document, every single piece of printed paper in the colonies taxed. Not to pay for roads, not to pay for schools, to pay for a war in Europe the colonists had nothing to do with, and not one colonist had a single vote in the parliament that made that decision. A lawyer named James Otis put it plainly, no taxation without representation. And 13. Colonies heard him. The anger built for 8 years. Then on the night of December 16, 1773, a group called the Sons of Liberty boarded 3 ships in Boston Harbor. They were disguised as Mohawk Indians. They were very angry, and they had a plan. 340 to chests of East India Company tea, 46 tons, went over the side. Into the harbor. Into the cold December water. Britain called it destruction of property. The colonists called it a statement. History called it the Boston Tea Party. Britain's response was to send more troops, and on the morning of April 19, 1775, a column of British redcoats marched toward the village of Lexington. Massachusetts, a small group of colonial Minutemen stood in their path, outnumbered, outgunned. Standing on a village green at dawn, someone fired. To this day, no one knows who. Both sides fired back. The smoke cleared, they called it. The shot heard round the world. The American Revolutionary War had begun on June 11, 1776. A 33-year-old Virginia lawyer named Thomas Jefferson sat down with a quill and began to write. 23 days later, the Continental Congress adopted what he had written. July 4th, 1776. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. 11 words. No king had ever written those words. No government had ever been built on them. Now one would be. But first, they had to survive the winter. December 1777. Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. The Continental Army was starving. Soldiers wrapped rags around their feet because they had no boots. Nearly 2,000 men would die that winter, not from British bullets, from cold, disease, and hunger. And George Washington stayed. He walked among his men. He slept in the same conditions. He did not leave. A revolution held together by one man who refused to walk away. Then came a lifeline. On February 6, 1778, France signed a formal treaty of alliance with the United States. They were Britain's oldest enemy, and they saw an opportunity. A 19-year-old French aristocrat named the Marquis de Lafayette had already been fighting alongside Washington since the year before. Now the entire French military followed, ships, soldiers, supplies, and a naval fleet that would change everything. October 1781, Yorktown, Virginia, Washington's Continental Army from the north, French forces from the west, the French fleet sailing off the sea. British General Cornwallis was completely surrounded on a peninsula with nowhere to go on October 19th, 1781. The British walked out under a white flag. Cornwallis claimed he was ill and sent someone else too. Hand over his sword. Washington didn't flinch. He accepted the surrender with complete dignity. The war was over September 3rd, 1783. The Treaty of Paris, Britain formally recognized the United States of America. In 1788, the Constitution was ratified on April 30th, 1789. George Washington became the first president of a country that 8 years earlier had not existed. 13 colonies, one revolution, one idea that governments drive their power from the consent of the governed. It had never been done before. It changed the world. The American Revolution, in 2 minutes. Subscribe to Doodle Chronicles, new history every week. Don't miss it.